महागणेश निर्भिन्ना विघ्नयन्त्रप्रहर्षिता बण्डासुरेन्द्र निर्मुक्ता शस्त्रप्रत्यस्त्रवर्षिणी.
She is delighted at the great Ganesha's breaking the obstacle formed of the magic figure. The magic figure, named Jayavigna, which had 8 angles and 8 tridents, was defended by 8 devatas, namely Alasa and others, was inscribed on a stone slab 2 kroshas 4 miles in extent and thrown by Vishukra on the army of Devi. It was broken into pieces by Mahaganesha. This is described well in the Lalitopakhyana. She is showering missiles in response to the weapons thrown by Bhandasura. According to Dhanurveda, the difference between Shastra and Astra is as follows. Shastra is that with which one strikes his enemies. It is always held in hand. Astra is that which is thrown out or discharged by the hand, as the arrow of a bow. Names 78 and 79 are also explained as follows. Mahaganesha is the mastery over Puryashtaka, or the city of 8 things. It means the realization of self. The magic figure of Vishukra and the missiles of Bhandasura refer to the different modifications of Nishines, Avidya, and Devi showering missiles means the continuance of the act of realizing the supreme individuality.
कराङ्गुलिनखोत्पन्ना नारायणदशाकृतिः महापाशुपतास्त्राग्ने निर्दग्धासुरसैनिका.
From the nails of her 10 fingers sprang the 10 forms of Narayana. Nails, joints of the nails or fingertips. 10 forms, Dasha plus Akrit, of Narayana are the 10 incarnations of Vishnu, namely fish, tortoise, boar, man-lion, dwarf, Parashurama, Rama, Balarama, Krishna, and Kalki. The Daitya sprung into existence from the missile called Sarvashurastra, which was aimed by Bhandasura, were Somaka, Ravana, Bali, Hiranyaksha, and others, who were known to have fought several battles, had their origins thus. In order to destroy these Daityas, Devi created from her finger ends the 10 incarnations of Vishnu, Matsya, Kurma, etc., in regular order from her right thumb to the left small finger. The following is from the Lalitopakhyana, where it is well described. From the right thumbnail of the great queen there sprang the divine, all-pervading Narayana in the form of a great fish. The 10 avatars, having performed their respective onerous tasks, stood with folded hands before Mother Lalita, saluting her, or 10 forms. The word in the text is Dashakrit, which may also be taken to mean the 5 states Dasha of Jiva and the 5 functions Krit of Ishvara. The 5 states of Jiva are walking, dreaming, etc., and the 5 functions of Ishvara are creation, preservation, etc. She burnt up the army of Daityas with the fire of the Astra called Mahapashupata. This Mahapashupata mantra is different from the 6-syllabled Pashupatastra mantra. The former belongs to Sadashiva and the latter to Ishvara. The Linga Purana says, from Rudra to Pisachas are called Pashus. As Shiva is the lord of these, he is called Pashupati, lord of Pashus. Hence, This mantra belongs to Sadashiva, or the fire of Mahapashupata weapons, the highest mental modifications connected with non duality which arise progressively according to the progressive practice of the devotion. The army of the Daityas, the mental modifications connected with ignorance.
कामेश्वरास्त्रनिर्दग्धा सभण्डासुरशून्यका ब्रह्मोपेन्द्रमहेन्द्रादिदेवसंस्तुतवैभवा
Bhandasura, with his army, was burned up by the fire of the weapon of Kameshwara. With his army, according to another reading, with his town called Shunyaka. This weapon of Kameshwara is more powerful than the one mentioned in the preceding name. Again, the Brahmana Purana says, the Supreme Mother Lalita, blazing with anger and throwing the whole universe into confusion, suddenly rendered lifeless, with the great weapon of Kamesha shining like the sun, the mighty Asura, the fierce and wicked Bhanda, who was left alone, all his relations being slain by flames discharged from that weapon, his city, called Shunyaka, emptiness, with the women, children, cattle, and wealth, was suddenly burnt up, and its site alone remained. Thus the city became empty, and its name, Shunyaka, was justified. Or, having described up to this name the condition of equality with Shiva, of him who has attained the last stage of Sayuja, of the emancipation of the divine self, while in this present life he now shows that Shiva alone remains, that is, he becomes Shiva himself after the destruction by the knowledge of the self, of the condition brought about by prarabdha, the karma which began its operation in the present body, with the subtle body, etc., which is then like a burnt cloth, a mere appearance of duality. The fire of Kameshwara, the fire of consciousness, because he is the universal object of desire. The Shruti also says, for the sake of the self, everything is dear. Bhandasura, the state of Jiva, individuality, the cause of the appearance of duality, the army, the subtle body, etc. Or according to another reading, Shunyaka, emptiness, the appearance of duality as is seen in a burned cloth, or it applies to the emptiness or unreality of the atheistic school of duality. When that state of samsara, jiva bhava, which appears to the devotee as void, is removed, himself remains as consciousness alone. Her supreme power is praised by Brahma, Vishnu, Mahendra, and others, deities. The Brahmanda Purana says, on that occasion, all the Devas, headed by Brahma and Vishnu, delighted at the destruction of Bhanda, came to wait upon her, etc. Or Samstuta, praised, realized in themselves Vaibhava, infiniteness, and omnipresence of the Self.
हरनेत्राग्निसन्दग्धा कामसञ्जीवनौषधिः श्रीमद्वाग्भवकोटैका स्वरूपमुखपङ्कजा
She was the life giving medicine to Manmatha, who was burnt up by the fire from the eye of Shiva. The eye, the third eye of Shiva. In the Brahmanda Purana occurs the story of how Devi, who had enchained even her husband Shiva, though he had renounced the world at the prayer of Brahma, etc., restored Manmatha to life. This agrees with the saying, children rebuked by the father are consoled by the mother. Similarly, the Brahma Vaivarta Purana says, if Hari becomes angry, the Guru is the protector, but if the Guru becomes angry, there is no one to protect. But it may be said, since here Hari is the deity to be worshipped, Paramashiva should be the savior from the anger of Devi, as he is the highest Guru, and without exception, because Shiva is called Adinatha, the first Guru. This is wrong because Paramashiva also is one of the devotees of Devi, and the devotee requires a guru. Hence, Tripurasundari must be his guru. And in Yogini Hridaya, part 3, verse 211, says, Shiva says to Parvati, O noble lady, this knowledge should not be given indiscriminately to atheists. Thus, by you, who are in the form of my Ichcha, was I commanded. To every effort, desire is cause. Devi is the well known cause of Shiva's activity, and she is his Guru. Hence, one of her names is in the form of Guru, number 603. The Chatushtati Shastra says, without Shakti, Shiva has neither name nor abode. According to the Tantras, Shiva became the first Guru, Adinatha, because he possesses the Ichcha Shakti. Therefore, there is no need to ask whether Devi is included in the circle of the Gurus or whether she is superior to Shiva, the first Guru. So the Mahaswachanda Tantra says Sadashiva himself, standing as both Guru and pupil, promulgated the Tantras in the form of questions and answers. The word himself, Swayameva, means by dividing his real and manifested forms, Prakasha and Vimarsha, he became both Guru and pupil. Suggesting and questioning were the part of Devi, and teaching and responding that of Shiva. To express the above, Shiva speaks in Yogini Hridaya, part 3, verse 2, of Devi as in the form of his Ichcha and address her as noble lady. Really speaking, among the ranks of Guru, next to Adinatha, Shiva, the first Guru, is counted Adi Shakti, and Adinatha is second to none. There is no authority for taking either of those two as the first, but Adi Shakti, united with Adinatha, should be taken in the second rank, as she is the teacher of the third Guru, Sadashiva, by name. That is, among the ranks of the Gurus, first is Adinatha, second Adi Shakti, and third Sadashiva. Or Hara, taking the real nature of the self, Neta, leader, fire, causing forms to change, that is to say, the root of ignorance, Mula Jnana, burnt by that, Kama, the embodied soul, whose real nature is Shiva, Sanjivana, some, entirely getting rid forever of the wheel of Maya, and Jivana, the attainment of his own real nature, medicine, that is, Devi is the means to attain one's own real nature. The meaning is that moksha is the attainment of one's own real nature through the worship of that which is in the form of Vidya, and by getting rid of avidya. Before burning, Manmatha was embodied. Afterwards, he was living without a body. This illustration shows that jivas which were before Brahman became embodied through the influence of Nishines. When he got when he has got rid of that influence. He has no longer any body and becomes one with Brahman. This idea is also contained in the last Shiva Sutra, part 3, verse 46. The union already described again occurs. Commentary: Union, Milana. Again, realizing one's own Chaitanya. This occurs to the yogin who has reached the highest stage of yoga. Again, the attainment of union with Shiva is not a new thing for yogin because it is his own real nature. His own nature was hidden by the depravity brought about by the many material images raised by the power of illusion, and the nature of Shiva becomes manifest in him when the covering is dispersed by the following the method taught by the Guru. Thus, Shiva said, the last Shakti Sutra also says, the attainment of his own divine nature and the mastery over the chakras. Her lotus face represents the divine Vagbhava group, a group of syllables in the Panchadashi. Up to this, the supreme form of Devi has been set forth by the actions of her physical form, such as the slaying of Bhandasura, intended to convey a double meaning because it is subtler than the subtle and therefore must be described in an esoteric manner. And now her subtle form, which is inseparable from her physical form, is described. This subtle form has three divisions: subtle, subtler, and subtlest. The first representing the 15-syllable mantra Panchadashi, the second Kamakala, and the third is Kundalini. The first is described under the three names Srimat, divine, having power of conferring wisdom and other exalted powers; Vagbhava, that by which a person attains the power of speech; the Vagbhava Kuta, the group of 5 syllables.
कण्ठाधःकटिपर्यन्ता मध्यकूटस्वरूपिणी शक्तिकूटैकतापन्ना कट्यधो भागधारिणी.
From the throat to the waist, she represents the Madhyakuta. Madhyakuta, Kamarajakuta, a group of 6 syllables. It is said, as Kama, desire to create the universe, resides in thy heart. Thy mantra of the second part is called Kamaraja, O Amba, as thou art about to create the universe. The next, third part is called Shaktikuta. From the waist downwards, she represents Shaktikuta. Shakti is so called because it is Shakti of the wise. This is a group of 4 syllables.
मूलमन्त्रात्मिका मूलकूटत्रयकळेबरा कुलामृतैकरसिका कुलसङ्केतपालिनी.
She is the root mantra itself. Mula Mantratmika. Mula, root. This is the 15-syllable mantra, Panchadashi. It is the root of the 4 objects of human desires. Purusharthas, mantra, man, repetition, tra, protection. It protects those who repeat it. It is declared. Mantra is said to be that with increasing repetition, manana, of which, with full reflection of I-ness, destroys one's transmigratory life, samsara, and protects tra, him. The 3 divisions of the root mantra form her body. The 3 divisions of the mantra may be taken as forming either her physical or her subtle form. Really, the word "mula" of the previous and this name means the subtler body, called Kamakala. The three divisions are the parts of Kamakala. This Kamakala, with its three parts, is to be learned from a guru alone. The first part of the Kamakala is called Urdhva Bindu. The next is called the next is two crossed bindus, and the lowest is called Hardakala. These three, in order, take the form of the three groups of the 15-syllable mantra, as well as the face and other parts: face, throat to waist, and down to the waist, of the physical form of Devi. The Nathacharanagama explains this and the preceding name to indicate the subtler form of Devi in her collective and individual aspects. She has the special taste of the nectar of Kula. After describing the form of Devi in Brahmanda, he now proceeds to describe her subtlest form, called Kundalini, in the Pindanda, in the body. That Kundalini in the Mooladhara, sleeping in 3.5 coils, roused by yogins, breaks through the six chakras as well as the three knots called Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra Granthis, and proceeding to the Sahasrara from the moon's orb, which is the pericarp of the lotus. She causes the nectar to flow. Even those who are not yogins attain all these advantages by mere thinking. Bhavana, Kula, genus. This has one common knowledge of the triad of the known, the knowing, and the knowledge. When one says, I know the pot, there thought alone remains, and if that requires another knowledge, it is as if one light requires another light to illuminate it. So the triad is called Kula. The Chid Gagana Chandrika says, Kula is the measurer, the thing to be measured, and the measuring. There are 32 lotuses in the body, some facing upwards, some downwards. These are described in the Swachanda Samgraha and other works. Amongst these, the lowest one is called Akula because it has no connection with the triad, measurer, etc., and the other lotuses which are above it, above Akula, are called Kulas. In the Setu Bandha, the same commentator enumerates 22 lotuses with their names and their proper places, but here 32 lotuses wide Yogani Hridaya, Part 1, verse 27, or Ku, earth, and La, absorption, that is Mooladhara, because in it the earth Tattva is absorbed. The road of Sushumna is called Kula because it is connected with the Mooladhara. The nectar flowing from the Sahasrara is called Kulamrita, or according to Swachanda Samgraha, body is called Kula. Kulamrita is so called because it is connected with the body. She is the protector of the secrets of the family. Kula, the scripture, because it explains and is equal to the thought of the worshipper and the object of worship. So the Kalpa Sutra, Parashu, part 6, verse 39 says, one should keep in secret the Kula scriptures. The Agamas also say all Shastras enter the Kula that is, explain the object of the worship, or kula, the right conduct for the bhavi. Uttara Purana says kula means not family but right conduct. The protector, Devi, never allows the revealing of the secret of these two, scripture and right conduct, to the ignorant and makes the thread, instruction, unbroken by revealing it, the secret of the above, to those who follow the tradition. The secrets are threefold, namely, the secret of the chakra, of the mantra, and of worship. Yogini Hridaya, Part 1, verse 5 says, O great ruler, thus Devi Tripura has threefold secrets. In the Chintamani Stava also it is said, this family woman, Kundalini, entering the royal road, Sushumna, taking rest at intervals in the secret places, like in the chakras, embraces the Supreme Husband and causes the nectar to flow in the Sahasrara.
कुलाङ्गना कुलान्तस्था कौलिनी कुलयोगिनी अकुला समयान्तस्था समयाचारतत्पराम्.
The family woman, Kulangana, Kula, the chaste family. She belongs to such a family. The meaning is that the respectable woman is well protected. So, she also is protected, kept in secret by the wheel of avidya. The Kularnava says every other vidya is as public as a quotation, but this Shambhavi Vidya is protected like a respectable woman. The holy Parashurama also says, Kalpasutras, Part 1, verse 30. The other Vidyas are like quotations, quite public. Residing in the Kula, she is standing between the measurer and the thing measured, or Kula, scripture, and she is in the midst of the scriptures, because she is the object of Kula, knowledge. Belonging to Kula, Kaulini, because she is worshipped in every house, in every place, in every body, and in every family. According to the Vishwa, Kula means country, house, a collection of things belonging to the same species, tribe, and body. The Brahmanda Uttarana Purayana says Devi is to be worshipped in every place, town, house, village, and forest by men who are devoted to Shakti. Again, the lower thousand-petaled red lotus is also called Kula. The Swachanda Tantra says in the pericarp of it, Kula Devi resides and in the petals Kula Shaktis, or according to the Tantras, Kula means Shakti, Akula, Shiva, and union of Kula with Akula is called Kaula. Kaula means the essence common to both Shiva and Shakti, hence Devi is called Kaulini. Kulayogini. It is commonly said by some that Kaula means offering worship, etc., to a chakra mentally inscribed in ether. She is called Kulayogini because she is connected yoga with the chakra just mentioned. Numbers 94 and 95 are named as one by the author of Chalakshara Sustras. We will explain the reason of it in the 10th hundred. Having no kula, the thousand petal lotus at the base of the Sushumna is called Akula. Swachanda Samgraha says the Sushumna has a thousand petaled lotus at the top as well as at the bottom, is a pair of shining lotuses, O ruler, the Kula and Akula. She is called Akula because she is in the form of Akula or her abode is in it, or because she has no family, Kula, body, etc. She is called Akula, living in the Samaya. Samaya is commonly, literally, traditional custom, explained as offering worship, etc., to a chakra in the ether of the heart. That worship is unanimously decided by all the yogins as the supreme, hence it is called Samaya. Samaya also means the five books Vasishtha, Shuka, Sanaka, Sananda, Sanat Kumara, because they describe this internal worship or Samaya, Sama, equality, Ya, he who attains, that is, both Shiva and Devi. The equality between Devi and Shiva is fivefold, namely equality of place, that is chakra, rights, etc., are the same. Functions, creation, etc., actions, dancing, etc., name Shiva and Shiva, etc., and form, red complexion, etc. This is explained in detail by Lola in the commentary on Vasana Subhagodaya. Anta, in, means according to the Vishwa, corner, near, destruction, real nature and beauty. She is the real nature of these two, heart and the five books, devoted to the conduct of Samaya. Samayachara means the conduct described in the 10 chapters of Rudrayamala, or when the initiate, through the influence of the Guru's side, glance, becomes steady by the practice of either the six or the four kinds of union, and has been purified by the mystical practice called Mahaveda. Then, on the ninth day, Mahanavami of the lunar month, Devi Kundalini awakens, leaving the Mooladhara, and appears to him in the Manipura chakra. In that chakra, she is to be worshipped by the ceremonies, beginning with Padya, offering water for the feet, and ending with Bhushana, decking her with jewels. Then, having led her to Anahata, the ceremonies should be continued to Tambula, giving betel. Next, having led her to Vishuddhi, she should be worshipped, surrounded by the rays of the Chandrakalas which are there, having led her to Ajna Chakra, the Nirajana ceremony, waving lights before her. This indicates the end of the ceremony should be performed next and last in the thousand petal lotus in the center of the Sharagha. She should be united with the Sadashiva. Then, drawing a wheel, he should remain in the next house, waiting till she returns to and enters the Mooladhara Kunda. The method of effecting this must be learnt from a guru. This is what is meant by here Samyakara. Devoted. She is devoted to these two, the conduct as in the Rudrayamala and the Sushumna method.
मूलाधारैकनिलया ब्रह्मग्रन्थिविभेदिनी मणिपूरान्तरुदिता विष्णुग्रन्थिविभेदिनी.
Chiefly reading in the Mooladhara. There is a four-petal lotus called Mooladhara. In its pericarp, there is a Madhyabindu called Kulakunda. In that Kundalini sleeps, always having her face covered. Moola, the root. Adhara, support. The Mooladhara is the root of the Sushumna and the support of Kundalini. Severing the knot, called Brahmagranthi, of the six chakras, each has two knots on both sides. The Swadhisthana chakra has three, including Brahmagranthi. Thus ends the second kala, called Tapini, with the first 100 names in the work called Saubhagya Bhaskara of Bhasurananda.
आज्ञाचक्रान्तराळस्था रुद्रग्रन्थिविभेदिनी सहस्राम्बुजारूढा सुधासाराभिवर्षिणी.
Appearing in the Manipura, Manipura chakra is in the navel and then is a 10-petal lotus. In that, while engaged in the act of Samaya worship, wide under the name 98, Devi is decked Pura with gems, money. Hence, this chakra is called Manipura, appearing by removing the knot, Brahmagranthi, which is below this chakra, severing the knot, called Vishnugranthi. Above the Manipura is the knot called Vishnugranthi, severing V completely and Bedini, breaking. As Vishnu resides in the Manipura, this knot is called Vishnugranthi. Similarly, the Brahma and the Rudra Granthis are so called because Brahma and Rudra reside in these centers respectively. Residing in the center of Ajna Chakra, between the eyebrows, there is a two-petal lotus. It is called Ajna Chakra because in it the Guru who instructs Ajna resides, or a little Jna, knowledge. That is, knowledge arises first in him and mentally attains the conquer of that chakra. Therefore, it is called Agna. Severing the knot, called Rudra Granthi. The two Rudra Granthis are in the Anahata, center of the heart. In practice, the order is reverse. Or there are four parts, khandas, in the Sri Vidya mantra called Agni, Surya, Soma, Chandrakala, also called Vagbhava, Kamaraja, Shakti, and Turiya, Kutas. Wide, the names 85 to 90. Among these four, there are three Shlokas, reams. These are called knots and named respectively Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra Granthis. Severing means penetrating into. Really speaking, these six chakras, 94 to 104 names, signify the roots or origins of the universe. As said in the fourth chapter of the Tattreya Samhita, the Mooladhara and other five chakras are together called Kula. There are three knots. Among them, these three are called Devi chakras. The earth and water chakras are indicated by the Brahma Granthi. The next two powerful and shining chakras are fire and sun. These two are indicated by the Vishnu Granthi. The shining one confers all the siddhis. The next two chakras, in the form of air and ether, are indicated by the Rudra Granthi, the seat of mighty benefits. Having ascended the 1,000-petal lotus, this is in the lower part of Brahmarandhra, showering down torrents of ambrosia. This ambrosia comes from the moon of the pericarp of the lotus. The Shruti says, let the first, let the feet of Devi, which cause torrents of nectar to flow on all sides. make us satisfied.
तटिल्लता समरुचिः षट्चक्रोपरि संस्थिता महाशक्ते कुण्डलिनी विसतन्तुतनीयसी.
Brilliant as the lightning flash, the Shruti says, bright as the flash of lightning, residing above the six chakras, Samshita, residing, Sam, permanently, Sthita, residing above the six chakras, namely Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddhi, and Agna, greatly attached to festivals. Mahashakti. Festival means the union of Shiva and Shakti in the Sahasrara or Maha stages. Ashakti, devoted to. The Vishwa says Maha means festival and Tejas or Mahat, greatness. A, on all sides. Shakti, attachment. Kundalini, Kundala means coiled, hence Kundalini. What is coiled? Its own form is like a coiled serpent. The Tantra Raja says the shining Tejas, vital energy, Jiva Shakti, which is the manifestation of life, Prana, is called Kundalini, which resides in the center of the flames of fire of Mooladhara. She is sleeping like a serpent, having 3.5 coils, radiant. She is ever hissing in the center of the Sushumna, where she resides in the head of Maya. When a man, after closing his ears, does not hear this sound, he is near to death. The Yoga Vasishtha in the story of Chudala says, recognize Kundalini in yourself, which is the very life of the mind, which is also called Puryashtaka, like the scent in the flower. The Devi Purana says that she is called Kundalini because she has Shringataka form, triangle form, and the three angles are Icha, Jnana, and Kriya, or the Vagbhava Bija is known as Kundalini, fine as the fiber of the lotus stalk. Shruti says, fine as the point of an ear of rice, saffron colored, radiant, and like an atom. The names from the 90th downwards to this name form one group. The Vamakeshwara Tantra says the Shakti called Kundalini in the form of a serpent, beautiful, fine as a lotus fiber, resides in the Mooladhara, biting the pericarp of the Mooladhara, which is like the pericarp of a lotus, with its tail in its mouth and connected with the Brahmarandra. Seated comfortably in the lotus posture, Padmasana, contracting the anus, his mind fixed upon Kumbhaka, the aspirant, should force the breath upwards. By the compression of the breath, the fire in the Swadhisthana blazes up. By the force of this blaze and by the force of the breath, the serpent king, Kundalini, awakes and breaks through the knots called Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra Granthis, as well as the six lotuses. This energy unites with Shiva in the thousand petal lotus. This should be known as the supreme state, Para, and it is the cause of the final beatitude. The Aruna Upanishad also says, arise, sleep not, ye who rejoice in the light, desire the fire, be satisfied of the king who is with Uma, with the help of the hot sun. Thus, the Upanishad exclusively refers to the Devi. Hence, we find in the Shyamala Sahasranamam, among the thousand names of Shyamala, one name is particularized as praised by Arunopanishad. This is a dialogue between the devotees called Prishnis, who rejoice, etc. Bharata, those who are devoted to Saraswati Vidya, that is, the devotees of Sri Vidya, arise, preserve in your devotion, sleep not, do not be careless, or arise, the Kundalini, sleep not, do not allow her to sleep. Fire, the fire in Swadhisthana, convert this in the form of Kundalini. Desire, raise her by the force of your wish, with the help of the hot sun, the sun which is between the Anahata and Vishuddhi chakras, accompanied by the fire of the king who is with Uma, the king of the kings, Shiva with his queen, who is residing in the lunar orb belonging to the Sahasrara. The meaning is having raised the Kundalini fire and united with the Kundalini sun and leading these two into the lunar orb and uniting them to the common essence of Shiva and Shakti. Then, by the streams of ambrosia flowing from this union, filling the 72,000 channels, he becomes satisfied thereby. Thus, another Shruti says, whatever the hissing sound the girl makes, whatever the woman does, and whatever good things the woman after marriage does, fire helps. Girl, Kumari, Ku, earth, Mir, absorption, that is Kulakunda, Mooladhara. Kundalini is so called because she belongs to Mooladhara. Kumari is meant here as a newly born baby because Kundalini is described here with the sound of hissing, crying when she has just risen from the Mooladhara. Woman marriageable by the ripening influence of the sun above Anahata. She attains maturity. The woman after marriage, Pati, husband, Kameshwara, who is in the Brahmarandra. Whatever she does in these three stages of girlhood, etc., good things, the flowing of ambrosia, etc., fire in the Swadhisthana. It helps because the lunar orb becomes liquefied by that fire and thus causes the flow of the nectar. The Shanat Kumara Tantra supports the above assertion. The ascetics, called Prishnis, devoted to Sri Vidya, having assembled, instruct one another. Arise, O Bharatas, do not delay. Desire the fire in the pericarp of the Swadhisthana, with the help of the sun, having liquefied the moon's disk in the Sahasrara. Be contented by the flow of the nectar caused by the union of the king Shiva, who is with Uma, in the marriage of the female serpent Kundalini. Fire alone was the companion. Thus, another Shruti also says, may the pure feet, which are blazing, illuminating, bright, glorious, and the means of entering the world of the Brahman, make us satisfied. Blazing, illuminating, etc., indicate respectively fire, sun, moon, and kala, charana, feet, moving to and fro. Hence, Kundalini, which moves between Mooladhara and Sahasrara. The meaning is let the Kundalini satisfy us by the flow of nectar entering the seeds of fire, etc. This is further explained in the Sukha Samhita. May Kundalini, whose movements are secret, and who, by the blaze of the fire, by the illumination of the sun, and by the brightness of the moon cause the ambrosia to flow through the 72,000 channels and make us contented. Thus, also explained, we find the same in Vasishta and other tantras.